In other regions of the world, women also take to the streets to raise their voices against worldwide oppressions. In Spain, for example, social organizations are commemorating this March 8th in the streets of Barcelona. Feminist associations and collectives organize a series of events to vindicate equality between gender and denounce the different types of violence against women. The Assembly 8M called to march from 6 p.m. local time through the gardens of Gracia and walking along Gracia Passage, passing by Ronda de Saint-Père to reach the Triumph Arch, where the mobilization will end. The Assembly also called for a walk under the slogan "From our misery we make the struggle grow," to show their rejection of femicide and gender violence.
We are here because 8 March is not only commemorated on this day but every day, and we go out to vindicate it today, and we have to shout, not to keep quiet, to say everything that happens, to talk about rape, xenophobia, about everything that happens because we are not as advanced as we think. We usually think that we have progress, but that progress is not completely done. There are still a lot of things to change, and that's why we are here today and every day since we suffered then, we are.
Also in Italy, locals crowded the streets of Rome to speak out against gender-based violence and to commemorate the International Women's Day. Likewise, the attendees took advantage of the demonstration to express their support for the women of the Gaza Strip who are suffering the violation of their rights by the Israeli occupation forces. For their part, feminist groups called for a national strike to take stand against the government's measures regarding temporary hires.
In France, the right to abortion is enshrined in the Constitution, while in Italy we have 63% of consensus objectors, gynecologists in particular, 40.5% of anesthetics, and 32% of non-medical personnel. We do not have the freedom to have an abortion. Today we do not go to work. We went on strike. We gave up a day's work to emphasize once again that women exist in this country, that they must be heard despite what the Meloni government continues to do.
Meanwhile, in France, thousands of women demand gender equality and demonstrate against gender-based violence in the streets of Paris. In this way, feminist activists seek greater visibility and the constitutional guarantee of their rights. In the meantime, the country's administration announced that on March 8th would be the date for the country to incorporate the right to abortion into the constitution. Precisely on Friday, the French president announced a plan to include the right to abortion in the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union, a step that would constitute a win for the women's movement in face of advancing far-right wing.
We are doubly satisfied today, since not only did we see this gesture in sealing the right to abortion in the Constitution, but Emmanuel Macron, in his speech, said that he was in favor of a proposal that we tabled at the beginning of the week to enshrine the right to abortion in the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union, which would again be a spectacular step forward at a time when in many countries in Europe, women are continuing to fight for the right to abortion.
Indonesia also joined the mobilizations in the world for the fight and respect of women's rights on International Women's Day. The attendees expressed their dissatisfaction with labor policies and pointed out the lack of job security as well as the short duration of contracts and low wages. Activists from feminist and labor groups demanded that the government take measures to guarantee their rights. In addition, hundreds of Philippine women rallied in Manila City for the commemoration of International Women's Day. The attendees denounced sexual harassment and demanded the government to do more to defend and enforce women's rights and protested against the 1987 amendment to the 1987 Constitution that protects against authoritarian governments. Unionists and activists raised their voices to commemorate the date, demanded the rights and end to the gender-based violence.